I think one thing that I've realized within the 21st century is that a lot of people nowadays, especially men, don't have that drive and ambition that people used to have. So for example, in the early 90s, people used to have ambitions to start new things, new inventions, new businesses, all of these different things. People had dreams. They wanted to turn what they thought in their head into a reality. For example, Henry Ford, he thought of a thing and he turned it into a reality. Now look at it, how big Ford has gotten. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this might even be driving a Ford. So that could tell you already a lot of things. What I've seen nowadays is people just don't have that drive, that ambition, those goals and dreams that people used to have. Like, I feel like, and this should be like a wake-up call for a lot of people. For example, if you're in the ages of like 18 to like 30 and you have no direction within your life, you feel like you're lost, you feel like you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again, you feel unfulfilled, you need to do something about it, because if you don't, you're just going to keep doing it and doing the same thing over and over and over again until the day you die. And I know it's kind of scary to hear, because who wants to be working that same job for the rest of their lives, being around the same miserable people that don't want to be there either? A lot of people have goals and dreams that they're just too scared to try or too scared to do because they are scared. And that is what causes mediocrity. Mediocrity is the fall of our society. Okay, nowadays, I feel like maybe like 95% of all, I wouldn't even say men, just people, I would say men just don't have that drive. They don't have the ambition that it takes to become successful within anything within life. I feel like there's literally only 5% of men from the ages of 18 to 30 that have goals, that have dreams, that have ambitions to do stuff with their lives, to actually change their lives, and including themselves or other people around them. Nowadays, people don't have that. It's rare to have other people like that. Why do you think it's called the 1% club? Because there's only 1% of the entire population that are able to achieve all of their goals and dreams and turn them into reality. All right. Everyone would love to be rich, but no one wants to put the work in to get to those goals, to get to those dreams that they have. So they're just like, oh, whatever, it's hard. So it's okay. Like, whatever, like it's hard enough for me to do. I'm just not going to do it. Or they keep pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off. For example, there's a lot of people that I've met that say, oh yeah, I want to start this new business. I've had this business idea for a while, but like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the summertime starts because I'm going to be off of school and I won't have work, this and that. It's just like, dude, just like get to the point, like get to it now. Like if you want something, if you have an idea, if you have a skill you want to learn, if you have thoughts and goals and dreams that you have, turn that into reality. Turn that into something that you can hold with your hand. Don't just keep it inside of here, because this is just a box. If you keep it in here, then you're not going to get anywhere. You have to take whatever's inside of here and take it out in your hands and do something with it. If it wasn't for me starting 7 other businesses before trading, if I didn't fail all of these other times, I wouldn't get to this point that I currently am in. And obviously I still have a longer way to go, but that just shows to go. If I just gave up after the first try, my very first business was when I was 15. I started not mobile detailing, but I was detailing people's cars. I would go knock on people's doors and say, hey, I could detail your car for 30, 40 bucks. At that time when I was 15, that was a lot of freaking money back in the day. Then next year, I kind of gave up on that because I gave up. And then next year came around and I started a pressure washing company, and I actually learned a lot of things from that. I made a lot of money that summer. At the time I was 16, which a lot of money was probably around like, I want to say like $5,000 to $6,000. That's a lot of money back in the day. And I kind of gave up on it because I didn't see too much progress with it, kind of slowed down. And then I moved to drop shipping. All right. And it just like, if it wasn't for all of those things telling me to keep starting something new and just trying and keep trying and pushing at that button, say, hey, do something, If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be anywhere. I would be living the average Joe life that a lot of people are living nowadays. They're going to be stuck working that job that they don't want. They're going to be making mediocre money. The average Joe income, which nowadays the average income is not affording how expensive our lives are. If you live in America, you know how expensive everything is. Gas is through the roof. Groceries are through the roof. Housing is ridiculously expensive. You're going to tell me that the average of first-time home buyers are in the 40s and their 50s, 30, 40 years ago, those people that are buying first-time home buyers, the average was like 20 years old. You know, it's expensive nowadays. So if you have to have some sort of other goals and you have to have some drive to do something different. You can't just be living the same life that everyone else is living. Just because others are going to college doesn't mean that you have to go to college. And this goes for people who are in high school. Do something different. Skip a year of just take a gap year if you want to call it. Take a gap year and just say, hey, I'm going to try something new. I'm either going to travel, I'm going to start a new business and see how it goes. Because, hey, who knows? You might fail that business. You might run out of money, but at least you learn something. You learn something about starting something new. And then what you could do from there is go back to the drawing board and say, hey, I did this. This went well. This didn't go well. Here's what I'm going to do differently. And then start over again. Okay? I had about 5 different drop shipping stores. None of them worked out. Okay? None of them worked out. But what I did notice is that every single time I was getting closer and closer to getting sales. The first one, horrible. Went nowhere. I had no views, no content. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. It was kind of just because everyone was doing it, so I kind of hopped onto it. But I realized there's money in this, and I'm going to actually try to do something with it and get to that point where I can start making real money from this. So I tried one store, didn't work out. Second store came around. I realized that I shouldn't have a bunch of different products on one website. So what I did is I made a niche website just for one different product, and that's it, one product, and I started advertising it. Went very slow, didn't really go anywhere. Third product. So it's just business idea number 3 from drop shipping. All right, new business, but I learned a bunch of things from the previous ones, is how to actually advertise these products, what type of people I could advertise these to, and I started to learn how to use the TikTok and Instagram algorithm to my advantage. All right, it didn't really go anywhere. The next one came around. All right, this was it's like a makeup brush cleaner. It's like a little cup. You put like your makeup brushes in and it would clean them for you. Okay, what I realized is women care for their skin. Why would they want dirty makeup brushes? Okay, obviously it wasn't the best idea, but I saw someone doing it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take that idea, but I'm gonna completely rebrand it and to put my own label on it. So then I learned women actually care about their skin. So if you make videos talking about, hey, if you don't clean your makeup brushes after a year and you still keep reusing them, you're gonna have a face full of pimples and you're not going to look good. Now, I started pumping that out onto TikTok and stuff like that. I found other people using that same type of idea. So I just kept reusing it, and I started to get a lot of views. Like, I started to see a lot of traction, but it's just like something didn't click there. Something wasn't doing it. Like, something just wasn't taking the views into actual sales. So then I started trading at that time. So this was about when I was like a senior in high school. And I started trading at that time, and I was kind of doing 2 different things at once. And I didn't really see a lot of progress with drop shipping. So I started moving into trading, and I'm like, okay, this is so much better. But literally just take a step back and realize, like, if it wasn't for me failing and trying again and again and again and again, I wouldn't get to the point where I'm at right now, where I'm consistently getting payouts almost weekly, making what I used to dream about within a week, within a day. You know, obviously I'm not going to say that I'm going to be making $100,000 a month, but I think by the end of next year, by the end of 2026, I definitely will be. I'm definitely going to be at that point. All right. So just, if you're at the point in life where you're not happy with it, do something different, bro. Learn a new skill. Get out of your comfort zone, because the more you sit in your comfort zone, the less that you're going to achieve in life. I saw this video, and it was the reality of why Rome failed. All right. Rome, you know, the Roman Empire and stuff like that. Why the Roman Empire collapsed? Okay. Main reason being is because people got lazy and people started getting average. Like, people became just not wanting, they didn't have dreams, they didn't have goals and ambitions. In the beginning time, when, Rome was full, like, getting developed and stuff like that, when it took, 300, 400 years, I don't really know the details of Rome and stuff like that, but it took time, when it was taking time to build, people had those goals and ambitions to start something new. They want to say, hey, I'm tired of living this average life. I want something new. So they they built up a whole new city. They built up coliseums. They took over countries. They had, all these other things that just no one had. That's why the Roman Empire was so strong. It was the strongest empire ever to exist. But then a couple generations down the line, they don't have goals because those goals were already fulfilled by the generations above them. So for example, no one was building coliseums anymore towards the end because they already built them. So why would they want to start more if there's already a very big one? And it's just kind of like a rinse and repeat. Like, they built the Coliseum for people to enjoy, but too many people started enjoying it too much to the point where it brought the entire society down. And that's where the fall of the Roman Empire came. So it's kind of like a win-loss situation. Like there's this quote that I saw too, where it's like, hard times make strong men, strong men make easy times make weak men, and then weak men make hard times make hard, it's like a full like cycle. Like if you look it up, like it's like a full circle of just like arrows. It says like it's stuck with me my entire time that I've seen that quote. I saw like 2 years ago. So it's like, if you're in a situation where you are like going through it, like for example, like, I don't know, you have a family member in the hospital, God forbid, all right? You don't have money to pay for bills. This gives you stress to do something differently to change that outcome so you can actually pay for those bills and have a better outcome for your family member or for your future, whatever. So you don't have to go in debt, take out a loan to pay for bills. So you start a new business and say, hey, I'm gonna take the risk, even though which I shouldn't probably take that risk because I already have so much on my plate. You take that risk even though there's already so much going on, okay? So I hope this reaches the right person, because seriously, like if you're in the spot where you have no idea what to do with your life, seriously, do something different. Take the risk. Learn something new. And even if you fail, you'll learn something from that. And then you just keep going after that. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace out.